Hey friends, it's Sam from DIY Huntress, and I am so excited about today's project because today we are starting our kitchen renovation. I have been waiting to do this since the day we closed on this house, so let's get started. Right here, you think? Okay. Ah! It's plaster, Dad.
I quit.
Let's get started for real. This kitchen demo is sponsored by my friends at the Home Depot. It's pretty much an understatement to say that I have been waiting to knock out this wall in between the kitchen and the living room since we closed on this house, because one of the first things Chris and I actually said when we walked into this house was that we wanted the wall to go. Not only that, the kitchen and the dining room are also separated by a wall, so that is coming down as well. Luckily, that wall is not load bearing, but the wall in between the kitchen and the living room is. So although my dad and I are demoing that wall in this video, I'm actually not taking it down myself. I hired a contractor to do this, but I will talk about that more in a little bit. That being said, I have been dreaming up this open concept living, dining, kitchen situation for the longest time, and in this video we are focusing on the demo and the part one of this full kitchen makeover, so let's do this. So before we got crazy serious about demoing this entire kitchen and dining room sitch, we wanted to make sure that there was nothing important behind the wall in the load-bearing wall between the kitchen and the living room. So my dad and I kind of hacked away at this wall a little bit just to make sure that nothing important was in there. And once we were feeling good about that decision, my dad continued to kind of just demolish the plaster walls in this space, and then I worked on the kitchen. And yes, don't worry, we saved the rotary phone. In terms of looking at things as like salvageable versus non-salvageable, when it came to the cabinets and the counters, I ended up getting rid of all of them. A lot of them weren't in great shape and they did have to go, but some of the appliances were actually still in working condition, so we did make sure to be as careful as possible when removing them so that if anybody needed them, they could be donated. That being said though, the majority of day one of this demo was spent taking apart the kitchen and either depositing it in the dumpster or in our donate pile, while my dad focused on a ton of the plaster on the plaster walls. Side note, doing any project with my dad is so funny because obviously I film everything, but he doesn't always understand that, and so I couldn't get him pulling the oven out of the kitchen because by the time I turned on the camera, it was already Luckily though, I was able to get like 92% of this demo filmed for this video, so that's good news. So before we realized that we were working with plaster walls, we were like, yeah, no problem. We can totally have this demo done in a few hours. And it actually took us literally all day because plaster just crumbles when you hit it. And it's super heavy to carry out. So it had to be carried out in very small piles along with everything else. But all good. My dad and I have done so many demos together of other people's houses, especially when I was growing up and he made me work for his company in the summer. So it is a lot of fun to do jobs like this with him, and it's even more fun now that it's my own house. Okay, so after the cabinets and kitchen stuffs were out, it was time to focus on, to me, what was the most fun part of this entire project, opening up that wall between the kitchen and the living room. Oh my goodness, what a difference it made. Okay, this is the part I've been looking forward to all day.
Hello there.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hey, fancy meeting you here.
Who needs a hand when you got a shoe?
Ah! I see into the kitchen from the living room. Woo! So once we opened up that wall, I left it alone because that wall is load bearing and I wanted to bring in a contractor and an engineer to take it down for me. I'm not messing with it. It's basically holding up the entire second floor of this house. But the wall in between the kitchen and the dining room is not load bearing, and my dad and I were able to remove that on demo day 1. I will talk more about load bearing versus non-load bearing in a little bit because at some point all these walls were open, but for now we're gonna call it quits on demo day number 1 and move on to demo day number 2. Okay friends, day 2 on this kitchen renovation project, and I'm so beat up. Like, my hands are all torn up and bruised and I'm super sore. But I honestly wouldn't have it any other way. It still is blowing my mind that I'm demoing my own kitchen. I can't even explain the feeling. But anyway, we made a lot of progress on day 1. As you can see, there used to be a wall here and now there's not. We took down this entire wall because it was non-load bearing, and then we stripped this wall here but didn't take that down because that is load bearing. So I am gonna have a contractor come in and deal with that wall there. And here's the thing, as much as my pride really wants to do a ton of these projects by myself and actually do it myself, I have to kind of sit aside and realize that's not really realistic at the current moment. I'm working full time. We're still building out this retail store for Chris. There's a house that needs to get done. Our lease is gonna be ending in our apartment in a few months, so we have to get these projects done before we can move in. So there's just a lot going on. So I'm gonna bring in a contractor to deal with the load bearing wall and to also deal with all of the drywall work. I was really hoping to salvage the drywall on the exterior walls as well as the bathrooms on that side as well. But I don't know if you can see, I'll walk you over there. These walls are in pretty rough shape. So just a lot of old kitchen gunk, and we kind of pulled these cabinets away from the walls and it definitely smelled a little smoky. So that being said, I'm gonna get started on taking down the last 1, 2, 3 walls worth of plaster. Taking down the last 3 walls of plaster, that way I can get the contractor in here soon to start doing some work. I'm gonna focus on one thing at a time. I don't wanna get ahead of myself. That seems to be my favorite thing to do right now. And today's project is more demo. So let's get started. Wish me luck. That was a lot, but you get the picture. So long story short, as much as I want to do every single thing in this kitchen by myself, that's really not possible, especially with my full-time job. And I had a crew that literally had a week off in between 2 other jobs and was willing to come in and take care of the load-bearing wall and the drywall and also install my back door. And I was like, yes, please. The reality is that could I do the drywall work myself? Absolutely, but I would love to move into this house at some point, so I will take any help that I can get. That being said, I really went to Hammer Town, literally and figuratively, on this kitchen on demo day number 2 because the crew wanted to get in and get started. So I tried to get rid of as much of the plaster as I could, and then on demo day number 3, I had my team back to help. So demo day number 3 started with Jordan and I cleaning up my giant mess before my dad and I could get back in action on demoing the kitchen.
Oh, you're boring.
What? You're boring. Wait, move that garbage can that way.
Oh, here she goes.
Move it that way.
The director.
The director, yeah.
Then I'm gonna go.
While there wasn't a ton of stuff to do on demo day 3, my dad and I did have smaller things to do, like remove nails from studs to prep for the drywall work. And while I did that, my dad cleaned up the seams in the ceiling because the original plan was to salvage the ceiling to save some money on this kitchen renovation. Okay, so in case anybody's wondering what my dad is sawing away up there, this is pretty common with plaster walls, but all of the corners in the plaster are held together with this metal. So it's basically just metal meshing or metal wiring that's holding together all the seams. So that needs to all be cut away. So he's the real MVP for doing this work because no thank you. Good job, Dad.
And you thought I was gray before? Just look at me.
And spoiler alert, although that was the initial plan, it didn't quite work out the way that I had envisioned it. What happened?
Looks like the rest of your ceiling's gonna come down tonight.
Oh, I was trying to salvage the ceiling, but I guess that's not happening. Yeah, there's like a stringer that was holding up a lot of the ceiling, so... Oh God. What? We gotta undo the light. What are you doing? Let me go do damage control. 1 second.
Not my house.
Yeah, my house. I thought my job cleaning tonight was done. It is now 9 o'clock at night, and this is what I have to do before I get ready to go to bed for work tomorrow. So, here we go. Are you proud of yourself?
Yes, I am.
Well, I was kind of bummed that that happened because I was going to keep the ceiling, and with the contractors coming the next day to start the work on the load-bearing wall, I had a ton of extra cleaning to do. Luckily though, I got to partner up with the Home Depot for their prospective program again this year, and as part of the program, I got to try out the 16-gallon NXT Wet and Dry Shop Vacuum from RIDGID, and this could not have been more perfect timing. This shop vac came as an entire bundle with accessories, filter, dust bags, and a hose, and I was able to utilize all of those things to get this kitchen cleaned up in no time. Even cooler, the vacuum is part of the most powerful line of vacuums that RIDGID has ever made, so it was able to suck up pretty much anything that came in its way. The 4 swivel casters on this dust vac made it so easy to navigate around this kitchen demo, and its dedicated and built-in storage spaces for the power cord, the hose, and all the accessories made it so easy to store neatly in a corner for the contractors to use the next day. This vacuum seriously could not have made cleaning up this demo job any easier, and in fact, I told my dad that it is in contention for the real MVP of this demo project, so he better watch out. Luckily though, because cleaning up was so easy, I was able to get this space ready for the contractors to come in the next day to deal with that load-bearing wall. So I'm just getting home to my house from my full-time job, and the contractor is in there with his crew, and today's the day they start removing that load-bearing wall between the kitchen and the living room, and I can't wait to see what this is looking like. Are you ready? This is literally, I haven't seen this yet. Let's see. Whoa! Remove 1 wall, add 2 more. I like it. I like your style.
How you doing?
It looks good. Hi. Okay, let's talk about what is going on here. It's so exciting. So these 2 fresh walls are temporary support walls. They are literally temporarily holding up the entire weight of the 2nd floor of our house right now, because if you see that beam in the middle of them right there, that is where the load-bearing wall was that they took down in between the kitchen and the living room. All that's left right now is that beam up there. You can tell it's load-bearing because see how it's running perpendicular to the joists for the 2nd floor of the house. Yeah, so it's that 1 wall was holding up basically the whole center of our house. If that wall was running parallel to the joist, like the wall in between the kitchen and the dining room was, it wouldn't have been load bearing. That one came down no problem. There was no weight on it. But yeah, so now that that wall is gone, the contractor and his crew are gonna add a header running all the way across there. And then they're going to, underneath that wall, see where the wall used to be. In the basement, right under there, they're gonna be adding some footings because there's no support underneath that spot in the house in the basement right now. So yeah, they're gonna make some magic happen with that. And once all of that is all set and ready to roll, those temporary walls come out and we've got ourselves an open concept living room and kitchen. I'm so excited, and I'm so grateful that my contractor and his amazing crew are in here working on this while I'm at my full-time job for the next couple days. It's gonna look so good. Can't wait, can't wait. Oh my goodness, this looks so insane. The wall is gone. The temporary wall is gone. The load-bearing wall is gone. Oh my goodness, check this out. Ah! Like, what? It looks so big in here. I I'm so excited. So yeah, wall is gone. Contractor is gonna come back Monday. I just picked up our new back door. It's so gorgeous. Check that out. It's unfinished. I did that on purpose because I wasn't sure what color I wanted quite yet. So that will get finished eventually. But there's so much room for activities. So I know some real life movie magic editing just happened, but that's how I honestly felt about this project. I left for a couple days, came back, and the wall was gone, but there was still some work to be done. I did have to demo the rest of the ceiling and prep the rest of the space for drywall, so I spent the rest of that afternoon after just loving on the new space, clearing out the rest of that kitchen to prep for the guys. Honestly, demoing a kitchen is a workout. Who needs a gym, am I right? In all seriousness though, demoing the kitchen by ourselves was a lot of work, but just for jokes, I decided to see how much it would cost if I had hired someone to do it, and the estimate was $4,000, so not bad, totally worth it. Kitchen demo, pretty much officially done. Not gonna be able to demo the floors until the contractor and his crew are done. But now that all the walls are down and the ceiling's out and the insulation's out, that means the contractors can come on in and install the back door. And then after that, it's time to start working on my kitchen, like for real. Wow. Yeah. Seriously looking so crazy in here in the best way possible. It is so wide open. I have the guys working, they're the best. Doing such amazing work, seriously helping me out. I spoke about this earlier. I'd love to do all this work myself, but with the full-time job, it's just impossible. So having a crew come in and help has been amazing. And pretty much we're seeing a kitchen come to life now. So we're gonna demo the floor eventually, but for now it's looking really good and I'm getting super excited about plans in here. So once the amazing crew was done with the drywall work and done with installing my beautiful new back door, I had a chance to get on in there and do some final things like install the locks on the door. And I was able to get on back in there with my RIDGID shop vac to just vacuum up some of that really fine dust using some additional accessories from their line of accessories for their vacuums. And with that, marked phase 1 of this kitchen makeover complete. Did you really think I was gonna leave you hanging like that? Come on. I 100% feel like a newscaster right now doing a news bulletin with this giant microphone, but I cannot find my smaller mic. It was lost in demo process. I'm gonna have to locate that. This is by far the weirdest project reveal I've ever done on my channel because it literally is the first one that is not a finished project, which feels a little unsettling, but also feels very exciting. Now that the kitchen demo is like 95% done, that other 5% being that the floor's gotta go at some point, I'm really starting to see my vision that's in my brain kind of come to life in real life, and it feels wild. The reason we did not demo the floors now is because there was a 1-week window that the contractor and his crew had available in between jobs, and I wanted to take advantage of that timeline. So I had them come in here and do the whole load-bearing wall situation and the drywall while I was at my full-time job last week. And I'm really glad that I did that then because otherwise I would have had to wait for them to come back after the new year, and I really want to get started in here. So the floor will eventually come up, and I have some really special plans for that. Fingers crossed, hoping that works. We'll share more about that when we share the kitchen reveal on my channel, which, spoiler alert, also sad, is not gonna be anytime soon, unfortunately. I wish this is one of those videos where I'm like, part 1 kitchen renovation demo this week, and like part 2 kitchen makeover reveal next week, but we're doing this all in real time, friends. This is where we are. So yeah, even though the demo is done, I am waiting on some things to be delivered. I'm still waiting on things that I'm gonna have to order once those things I ordered are delivered. So there is a lot of work that still needs to be done in this space. But I do hope I do hope that you will stick around for that reveal. You know, click that subscription button, click that notification bell, be alerted when new videos are out because it will come out eventually, just not next week. In the meantime though, next week there will be another project on my channel because even though the kitchen is kind of on a standstill, there is a whole house that I'm working on renovating right now. And I am so stoked to share all of these ideas with you by my side. Yeah, I just hope you'll stick around with me and hang out with me while I renovate our house. It's so weird to say that. Thank you so much for being here and being part of this journey and being so supportive. I really feel the love from you all on the regular. So thank you for being awesome. Hope everyone is well, and I will see you next time with a different project. So happy DIYing.